Hi, my name is Michael Wang. For my visualization example, I chose Ben Flanagan's religious identity. I found this image on informationisbeautifulawards.com and I found it interesting because of its unique and intuitive method of displaying information on a dot density map. This map shows the religious allegiance of religious individuals within London and the Greater London area. Mr. Flanagan took data from the 2011 census of the Greater London area and plotted each person's recorded religious identity to their recorded address on this geographic map of the area. Non-religious individuals were excluded from this density map. And it's essentially a dot density map in which a single dot represents one person and different colors represent different religions. For example, you can see here that green represents Buddhists and Christians are represented by blue. And in terms of what type of visualization it is, I would say that this visualization is idea generation because it's conceptual and exploratory. It's conceptual in that it simplifies the distributions of religious affiliation by plotting it down on a geographic map that can be understood by most people. But it's exploratory because it uses an automated design that retrieves data from the 2011 census of the Greater London area. In order to plot people's religious affiliations with their corresponding geographic location within London to understand the presence and location patterns of the diverse collections of communities that live in and around London. And in terms of the 6 principles of good data visualization, the map nearly accomplishes all 6, albeit a couple of them are reinterpreted for this particular case. In terms of scale, it achieves an unbiased representation of every individual by limiting their presence to the map to a single dot. Since it's a geographic map, there isn't really an x-axis or y-axis that can be manipulated to alter the perception of the data, but even so, the map doesn't violate the representation of data since a person is limited to a single dot. And for conditioning, we can clearly see the differences in subgroups of data based on the color intensity of different regions on the map. For example, we can see the majority of the map is blue, meaning these areas are predominantly Christian. And in other areas, we can see that there's a pretty predominant Sikh community, and over here there's a predominant Hindu community. And this difference in color intensity also helps us with perception since it clearly defines which group is represented where. The colors are not misleading since each religious group is represented by different colors, but this is only in theory, and I can see how some of the colors are slightly misleading. For example, on this map, it's kind of difficult to interpret turquoise and green for Buddhists and Muslims. These two could be confused for one another because of the amount of data points that are on the map. But besides these two, I would say that the map accomplishes for the most part, a clear representation of the different subgroups. In terms of satisfying transformation, the data given to us isn't necessarily numerical or what one would define as numerical. As a result, this density map doesn't accomplish nor fail the principle of transformation. But if we were to read between the lines, we could say that by zooming into this map, it changes what we're viewing and the contents that we're viewing in a way that it gives us a sharper look into a particular subgroup of the data by location. But that is more for fun than for actual interpretation. This map also satisfies the principle of context by giving us a title that describes what is being shown and where. It gives us labels for each of the data points, and it gives us an index for how each of these data points or how each of these subgroups are being represented. And then lastly, for the principle of smoothing, I chose to interpret this as like, does this map allow us to see trends from the numerous amount of single data points? And the answer is yes. We can see trends because of the color intensity of particular regions. This gives us an indication of the patterns and trends that are taking place in the Greater London area and tells us what groups are present in that area. And here's a last look at it all. That's it for my showcase, and thank you for listening.